Many blessings, much love. Moving on to Virgo, we'll be dropping our channel message for the Aquarius season. So for Virgo, my earthy mutable sign, definitely affected by Mercury. We are working with the channel message from Kali, Chinamasta, and the coinciding experience and tarot wisdom that's coming with that as well. Channel from Spirit is the Seven of Cups. That's very fitting, especially with the Seven of Cups. We can look at a situation, we may romanticize it more, or we may predicate our data and what it is that we are basing what we know and what we see, predicated off of no backup or further additional evidence. It's like analyzing and making all these decisions, which is why you see Seven of Cups. And these things may move you. There's a lot of different options, but sometimes we may not see what these things are being sourced by, which is why everything that you see is on the cloud, because you can't see where it's being sourced by. You don't know if there's any foundation to stand on behind that, which might invoke a feeling of pipe dreams or illusions, or when we get closer up on it, wondering if this thing is actually what we think it is. So it's very fitting too, because with Chinamasta being there, this is representing a headspace. And it can look very graphic or very fierce because it's a severance, but sometimes it's necessary to sever things for your greater good. Or in this instance with Chinamasta, this is the sacred severance. And with the sacred severance, this is a radical grace. She is our soul's power to shed and survive and to outgrow and evolve. Sometimes it's necessary to cut ourselves away from old things in order to grow. When the soul needs to separate itself from that which it once relied upon, be it a view of ourselves or the world, or a group or a belief system that cannot support the truths of our heart, she is the capacity, sovereignty, and courage required for self-liberation. Systems of oppression within your mind and within the world will be overcome. You have the power to sever your attachment to the past and focus on inner regeneration and reorientation, healing into a path that is worthy of your heart. So this is very fitting because Virgo, I would say that one of the most difficult things that you have in dealing is detachment. Once you actually decide that you want to involve yourself with something, once you commit, it's very difficult for you to detach. Usually it's hard for people to get you to like them or to actually decide that you want to be involved in something. And that's very fitting because you don't really jump into new things very easily. Your emotions don't pour out for people very easily unless it's the people and the things that you want to nurture. But once you do decide to nurture something, it can be very difficult to let go. And it's also very fitting too, because with this Chinamasta rendition, the head is all about knowing. So the headspace is the knowing, and what you may be basing your knowing off of may be coming from a source that does not support you, or that actually may be poisonous to you, and information, Kundalini energy, feeds up. So if you're connected, if your body or your head, your knowing space is connected to a source that is poisonous, then no matter how pure your knowing or how well you know the information, you're connected to something that does not serve you and works to poison you. It's literally like being the smartest guy amongst the dummies. It doesn't matter. You need to make a spiritual pivot and remount in a new space, especially if the headspace that you're in is not comfortable for you anymore and you're simply only still connected to it because you're relying on it. You may experience this within dynamics in which you know that your heart is telling you that you don't want to be involved with this person, but you tell yourself that you don't want to be alone and you want to stay connected to this person, even though emotionally there's a strong toxic codependency taking place and they're really draining you. These severances that take place are there to let you know that you don't need the crutches anymore. Sometimes you may be holding on to crutches of old perceptions or old relationships because you don't want to feel lonely or you don't want to feel a lack of validation. So you hold on to those things to help yourself feel like you can attain the things that you have your vision focused on. But understand that even with the Seven of Cups, though the Seven of Cups speaks to the possibility of wishful thinking, a lot of opportunities, something good dropping in your plate, The reason that it's the Seven of Cups is because you're not entirely sure if there's any tangibleness to it. You have not signed a contract. You don't have any paperwork or anything that denotes that there's anything that means that this is tangible or real, other than the fact that you're enthused by it or that you put energy into it. So this is a call for you as well to realize that, hey, take account of these feelings. It's not to say that those feelings can't be very real. That's what the fuck intuition is. But make sure that you're backing this up. You're investigating further. You're delving into this further. The fifth of Mahavidya's wisdom goddesses is a most shocking form of Kali, Chinnamasta. She is the divine feminine avatar, self-decapitated and partaking of the blood that emerges from her throat. The name Chinnamasta translates as beheaded. She signifies a powerful activation of the spiritual path through the confrontation of the oppressive behaviors, self-limiting attitudes, and intellectual dominance of intuition. The head is the symbol of the known, of thinking, of forms of authority. It is the head that wears the crown. It is the sign of status and power. Unrestrained by authority, she is able to overpower it. For our human selves, the head is a locus of control. So during a Chinnamasta initiation, you will not understand what is happening. You won't know how everything is going to turn out. It is meant to be and not something you need to worry about or fight against. Chinnamasta is a potent medicine for liberation. Her graphic iconography then differentiates her from her other forms of Kali that wear her favorite accoutrements of severed heads and skull garlands. Chinnamasta's severance is of her own head, thus represents self-liberation. We do not need to wait for another to intervene. She shows us the way to save ourselves, to move from inner courage and inner wisdom. Her presence can indicate a time when you must trust yourself completely without external support systems to rely on. The belief and constructs that once supported you will no longer be able to do so. Success cannot come from a tired and true path of the past. You are evolving beyond that. It is time to rest in the void and allow for a new way to emerge. So it's very fitting. One of the things that's really resonating during this time is the self-liberation or the saving of self. But also, once the head is severed from an old body, the throat chakra liberates. So this is also letting you know that something that you truly desire, something that you feel that you need in order to get what it is that you want, you'll be able to express it. You may be in a relationship where you have to bite your tongue or hold what it is that you really want to say or even be, because you're connected to a space. You have a choker around your throat and around your spiritual throat that won't let you speak, that won't let you express who you authentically are. And you'll notice that when you separate yourself from this old thing that you think that you need, this old perception, you're able to speak more freely. You're able to express yourself more freely. You're able to express what it is that your body is feeling and emitting more smoothly and more articulately because of this self-liberation. I also want to call attention as well to the fact that a lot of times as Virgos, you may be waiting on someone to change your situation. You may be waiting on life to change your situation with a tendency to procrastinate. And by procrastination, I don't mean through inaction, but I mean procrastination through doing the same thing over and over again. A lot of times you may feel that when you're doing the same job, that, hey, my household is good, my physical household is good, my money in my bank account is good, so I don't need to think about anything else. And it shows that your emotional waters are trying to bubble out. Your mouth is spewing over blood. There's a part of yourself within your DNA, because the blood is the DNA, that wants to bubble out, but it can't get out because you're still connected to an old source. There's a knowing, your level of knowing is skewed because it's connected to a foundation or a source of information that is not relative to you. And once you make that severance, ask yourself, when you take your divine breath, what is it that you could sever yourself from? What spaces, what people, what relationships, what connections, both physical and immaterial, could you sever yourself from that would be sacred for your energy? That would allow you to be able to speak in a whole new way that you haven't been able to. With this Mercury retrograde coming up, and with this Aquarius liberation, what's coming to light? What's coming to the surface? What's getting light that wishes to be expressed? What are you seeing and what are you feeling now that would give you new light and new perspective? Meditate on these things and enjoy your divine breath and what resonates within your energy center as you move forward through this Aquarius season. I hope you enjoyed this message. Definitely make sure to subscribe and like this video. Also follow me on the Urban Lotus 6 on IG. Much love and many blessings, and have a wonderful day. Ashe.